St. Paul, for instance, in the scriptures, never downplayed the truth of Jesus Christ, right? For instance, we can take the early Judaizing, what we would call heresy, right? It was the issue of whether or not, in the very early days of Christianity, whether or not Gentile believers, specifically men, had to be circumcised or not. Of course, and there was a faction of Christians who said, absolutely, you have to be circumcised. There's no way you can be a believer in Jesus without circumcision. And St. Paul writes his book of Galatians in response to that. So we see that St. Paul he wasn't like, well, if that's the way they feel, I guess that's nice for them. He didn't have that kind of modern, I would say, more mindset. He said, no, and he lays it out in Galatians. I won't unpack all that right now, but just as a reference point. Um, and so I think obviously if we're really longing for truth and true unity in Christ Jesus, that is an admirable thing. We should be after that. But if we're after just blurring the differences so that we can come to what I would, as you mentioned in my article, what I conclude is not an authentic Christian unity, um, then that's very problematic because then it does lead into syncretism. We see that in the modern day, and I think it's directly there because it's the next step of modern ecumenism.